Hey, Shoreline. Scott here with you again. We're just taking on a Monday afternoon here in light of the ensuing shelter ban and still working our way through Psalm 27 and Tripp's book. I thought if you're still with me on the memorization, we're going to try it together. So, Psalm 27 starts, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When evildoers assail me to eat up my flesh, my adversaries and foes, it is they who stumble and fall. Though an army encamp against me, my heart will not fear. Though, oh man, I forgot. Though war arise against me, yet I will be confident. One thing I have asked of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of his temple." That's about as far as I got, but slowly working my way through it, just like you. It's kind of a process. It's not easy, but it's a good thing to wrap our heads around as we go through this time together. If you think about Psalm 27:4, it's a really cool. It's a really cool verse, especially during times like this. You can find on Tripp's book on page 38 and 39 a little comment on it. I thought it was a really helpful question. What's your one thing? What's your one thing? And if you think about it, like there's a number of things that you could be asking of the Lord during this period of time. Of course, when will the COVID-19 thing go away? Obviously, a serious question. Maybe the one thing we're asking of the Lord is when our life can get back to a kind of a normal again. Or you could be asking for some things that are, like for me, some basic things like, why can't a Cane's chicken be built right in Mentor? I mean, I know that's a small thing, but why can't it be closer to me? But in all seriousness, like there's one thing that David's talking about when he's in a time of serious trouble. And I just think it's so interesting that he's not saying, the one thing I ask for is safety. The one thing I ask for is security or to be delivered. But the one thing that he asked for is that he might dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of his life, that he might be able to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord in his temple. And I mean, what he's saying is that we're all really made for worship, that when it really comes down to it all, when everything is really stripped away, the one thing that can really give the most comfort, security, and rest in our life is knowing that we were really made to crave and worship God. And Mr. Wherever we are, and he was on the run. He was in a kind of quarantine at times, in caves and wherever, trying to get away from people that wanted to take his life. And yet the one thing that he was asking for from the Lord is that he might be in the Lord's presence. And even if he was away from the temple and away from a place where the localized presence of God was, he still wanted to be in God's presence. And I think the same thing's true for us. We've had a couple of Sundays where we can't be together, and it's definitely a bummer. But in the same sense as David, like the one thing that we can do is to seek after the Lord in his presence. And Tripp asked some really some soul searching questions in this little section on page 38 and 39. And, as you think about it, he puts this question out there: life has meaning and I have worth only if I have, it's not necessarily a question, but a statement. And then there's a fill in the blank. And he has a long list of things that I think really are penetrating as you think about it. Life has meaning if I only have power or approval or comfort, image, control, dependence, even another person or work. And here's a time where a lot of these things are being stripped away. And so we're really back to the basic question: what am I really asking for from the Lord? And what's he delight to give to his children? And I think it's really that delight of his presence, that wherever we are, we can dwell with him. And as we do so, we really just get that sense that we are made to be worshipers of him. And at the very bottom of everything, our souls were made for that act. So just as we go through our day today, it's just a good thing to remember as we get together online here, that wherever we are, we can be worshipers of the Lord, and that we would ask for more time that God would give us in his presence, as we go through our day today. Shoreline, I want to see you soon, some point, but we want to be safe and follow the CDC and state guidelines as far as sheltering. But we'll be in touch as far as the updates go by email and by other forms of social media. But yeah, we'll stick with Psalm 27 together, and until we see each other again. We can say it together. Keep working on it. I'll keep working on it. I got some work to do. So we love you, and we'll see you soon.